that's awesome that this person is still positive and living life. It drives you mad. It will get to the point sometimes where you're feeling really hopeless. I'm so sorry. I wasn't expecting to cry during this. It allows me to still have hope that I have some sense of power and autonomy over my own body, that I'm not just leaving it up to the medical system to say, oh, I don't know what's wrong, like here's some medication. Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. Those of you who are new, my channel is a little bit eclectic, but on the weekends I like sitting down and just having a cozy conversation, my weekend waffling about topics that interest me, things that I think need to be discussed or talked about. And yeah, so welcome. Feel free to join the conversations in the comments below, and I would love to know your thoughts or feelings about all the things that I end up talking about. Today's topic, though, I really wanted to talk about chronic pain. So if you are someone who is suffering from chronic pain or you have loved ones who are suffering with it, definitely sit back for this video because it will give you some insight about how to manage your own pain, and especially just being able to deal with your loved ones who deal with chronic pain. I like to call it the invisible disability or the invisible illness. Chronic pain, unfortunately, if you don't have a physical manifestation of that pain, it's invisible. And unfortunately, most of those people, myself included, we don't like having to remind everyone around us every single day how much pain we're in. We often hide it. We often don't talk about it. And when we do kind of voice how much pain we're in, we feel like we're coming across as complaining or weak. And so more often than not, we end up hiding it. And so it comes across to those around us that we're functioning just fine, that we're happy and laughing and enjoying life, and we don't have any issues because we're not physically crippled, and we're not, maybe we don't have a limp or we aren't in crutches or wheelchair. That's a lot easier for strangers or everyone around us to say, oh, hey, they might have difficulties doing certain things. But when you just look like a normal person, it's really hard because you really don't want to turn into someone who's constantly complaining. And yes, there are, people that deal with chronic pain and voice it every day, but I know there's a lot, myself included. So if I'm doing it, I know there are many people out there who are hiding and masking the pain that they're in. And just because you learn how to live with, daily pain and live with that disability, your brain does this weird thing where it gets used to it to a point. It's not like a really sharp, jab of pain that happens, and you're screaming and crying and then it goes away in an hour. This is because you've been in pain for so long. Your body kind of becomes not numb to the pain because you still feel it, but you get used to living with it. So it's a lot easier to just kind of put your head down, push through life, push through work, push through being able to do all the things that everyone in life expects you to be able to do. And the hard and the sad thing is that even if you could choose to, let's say you have a disability and stop working or just sit at home all day, a lot of times that can make your chronic pain worse. I know with me, it's really hard sometimes to be active because it's very painful. But on the flip side, when I stop working out and I stop exercising and I stop moving my body, it does get worse. And obviously, there are limitations and exceptions to that. You know, if you have a certain injury and you really shouldn't be moving, but more often than not, most injuries and things dealing with chronic pain, it's very important that you move. But it's just, it ends up being harder. And so you kind of grin and bear it and you get through life. But even if your loved ones and your family members that you see every day, you know, they know you're in pain and you've told them over and over, you try not to come across as whining. So you'll let, you know, weeks or months span before you mention it again. Unfortunately, it is very easy for humans to just forget because we're very visual individuals. And so if we don't see someone struggling, it's very easy for us to say, oh, they're having a good day today. Like, it's fine. And so, you know, when they're really stressed or when they expect you to do certain things or get mad at you because you're not doing something, you know, properly or as good as you should be able to, it's hard because you don't want to have to complain. You know, it's really embarrassing to have to say that you're not as able as you used to be, or it's really embarrassing to just say that, hey, like, I'm in a lot of pain. And when you're constantly having to say that, it makes you feel gross and it makes you feel like a weak person and whining. And you don't want the sympathy. More often than not, you know, there's a lot of people in this world that want the sympathy and will, you know, exacerbate how much pain they really are in. I know there's been this wave of people self-diagnosing and saying that they have illnesses. And I do think that there's like a rampant epidemic in people dealing with autoimmune issues because of just the poisons in our environment. But there are people that, you know, will play it up for sympathy. And I think that makes it even harder for the people who are actually dealing with really bad pain and don't talk about it. We don't want the sympathy. And I know there's a lot of you that can relate to this. And if you're not the person dealing with pain and you're just, you know, a loved one or a friend or a family member, please just understand that we don't want to have to mention that we're in pain. We just want you to have the understanding that, hey, this person is always in pain. Like, for the most part, some days are better than others, but they're always in pain, like really debilitating pain. Maybe I should keep that in mind for when I expect them to do certain things, or maybe they're a bit slow, or I don't know, when I get mad at them. We just want people to have it in the back of the mind of, hey, like, this person went and walked the dogs this morning, and that was a really big deal because that was excruciating compared to, you know, just someone not dealing with pain that could just do it very easily. You know, the barrier for difficulty is much higher, but because you look fine and you're, you know, smiling and cracking jokes to try to just lift the mood, that should just be an easy task. We just want people to understand and, you know, constantly be reminding themselves that, hey, these little tasks are actually a big deal. And that's awesome that this person is still positive and living life and smiling and not being in bed. And, you know, we just want understanding. We just don't want the sympathy and we don't want special treatment, I guess. We just want that understanding. And it's hard because, you know, the first, whether it's chronic and it gets better, I mean, I'm going on 2 years now that I've been dealing with everyday pain. Some days are better than others. And I always had a very high pain tolerance. And I always, you know, thought that I could deal with a lot. And this has proven that, yeah, I can deal with a certain high level of pain not being on painkillers or anything and function in life. But it really, really made me be so aware of those people suffering with, especially anything that has to do with nerve pain. Um, how just it drives you mad. It will get to the point sometimes where you're feeling really hopeless, and maybe your diagnosis is that it's something that will never get better. I'm still in the kind of in between of I have hope that it will get better and that I can somehow heal myself and fix it. But if you're someone who's just been told, like, hey, this is never going away no matter what you're doing, and you have a horrific pain, especially nerve pain, I really, truly sympathize, and just my heart ached for those individuals who just can't deal, and you start to go crazy, and especially the ones that end up taking their lives because of chronic pain. And I've dealt with depression and mental health large chunks of my life due to certain things that happened in my past. And I know how it feels to be on the edge when it comes to depression, but I feel like that is completely different than dealing with, being on the edge because you're in pain. You want to live, you have hope in life, you have so much to live for, but because it's just this horrific, piercing pain that you're dealing with day in and day out, the mind can only take so much. And unless you're just perpetually numbed by medication or painkillers, I really got a taste for what that's like, and that's nowhere near the amount of pain that I know some people deal with. And I'm gonna start tearing up thinking about it. But gosh, I mean, I I can't imagine how many people out there are suffering. And I do have a lot of ex-military friends that deal with severe depression because of pain, and there's been a lot of suicide in the community due to PTSD, but also pain. And I think it's not spoken about, and it's not talked about as much, being that close on the edge because of how much horrific pain you're in, and you're just expected to live like that and deal with it. And not that I think, that's the answer. And obviously, you want your loved ones to fight and to push through and to continue living their lives and to not want to take their own. But gosh, I just wish there was a bit more discussion on what those people deal with and coming up with other solutions that isn't just, bottles and bottles of painkillers. I know with new medical innovation, there are a lot of amazing things coming with stem cells and various procedures. And I hope one day, we can get to the point to where chronic pain isn't something where they just give you painkillers or antidepressants. I know for my pain, they haven't really given me many options other than antidepressants, which are horrible on you, horrific on the body and the mind. And yeah, I choose to live in pain versus taking those, just because my head already hurts so bad. I don't want to be more out of my mind. But I just think if we can go through life having a bit more sympathy for those people, and understanding, and not pity them, but just not pity them, but just give them love and understanding that it's really hard and really difficult. And if you have someone, in your life that deals with that, just give them a lot of hugs and tell them that, you're so proud of them that they're able to go through life and function dealing with that. Because they're not going to ask. But they definitely need that hug. And for those of you who are dealing with chronic pain, oh my God, why am I tearing up? I'm so sorry. It's just a topic that I'm really passionate about because I'm so sorry. I wasn't expecting to cry during this. It's been really hard, but like I'm still so positive that like one day it will be fine. And those of you struggling with chronic pain, you know, just stay hopeful, because I feel like that's the only thing that gets me through, is continuing to try to do all the things I used to love and trying to stay active and being hopeful. The amount of hundreds of hours of research I've done, you know, trying to research and get help on top of, you know, the dozens and dozens of specialists and scans and blood work that I've gotten done, it allows me to still have hope that I have some sense of power and autonomy over my own body, that I'm not just leaving it up to the medical system to say, oh, I don't know what's wrong, like here's a medication. Stay hopeful and be a massive advocate for yourself, because, you know, being in that hole of feeling helpless and just feeling like there's no point, and that you don't know if it's going to get better, and just being tired, just being exhausted from being in pain. If you can stay hopeful, and I know that's a not fun thing to hear. I know when have my really bad days, you know, I don't want someone telling me like, oh, it'll be okay, you just have to be hopeful. But I feel like if it's coming from someone who's also dealing with pain and understands it, then I'm like, okay, well, they get it. They know what that's like. And I would just say that's my best advice, is just try to continue doing the things that you love, and be hopeful, and do your own research, be your own advocate. Try your best to take care of your body and to do things for you. Even if you don't have time in the day, you really do need to prioritize yourself. Otherwise, it's just going to get worse and you're going to be in the most pain. And load up on sunshine and the sea and loved ones. Just take care of yourself. And if you need someone to talk to, please tell your story in the comments below, because I think there just needs to be more awareness about, the invisible disability. And I'm sure everyone else would love to hear your story as well. So thank you for listening. I know this was a bit of a ramble, but a really, really important topic that's very dear to my heart. And I just wanted to talk about it with you all. So I hope this helps someone. I hope it can help those of you in pain, those of you who have loved ones that deal with it. And I will see you guys next weekend. Thank you for joining. And if you like this video, please leave a like or subscribe, because there are more conversations, more weekend waffling coming your way. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching.